Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about this new purchase I just made. I was actually at the e-Vike Alhambra, the superstore, yesterday, and I could not prevent myself from picking one of these up. I actually isn't one of those things where I've been wanting it for a long time. I think I've had this recent obsession with Sig, and I've had my Spear LT that I've got, and I actually have just ordered, which I cannot wait to get and I cannot wait to do a video on for you guys, is the Toxicant XM5. Really, it's the XM7. This is the Mark 18 version, so the super short 9.5-inch copy of what the US forces are going to be using as their standard weapon to replace the M4. And it looks awesome. Now, I heard it was going to be the end of November. Obviously, we're now in December, so I'm hoping it's going to come soon, and I can't wait to try that out for you guys. So I thought, you know what? I really like Sig right now, and if I'm going to run some kind of Sig setup, this is what the new, it's the new handgun secondary weapon that the US Army are similarly going to run. This is the full-size version, not the compact, which is the Sig Sauer P320 M17 MHS. Now, they do a more compact version, which is the M18, but I like Sig, and also this is made by VFC, and I've had a really, really good experience with VFC gas blowbacks recently, APFG, VFC. So I thought I would get this, and actually I could make a video for you guys. Number one, unboxing it and giving my first thoughts, but also kind of building it out. I don't like the orange tip, obviously, as most people don't. So I was going to try and take that off on camera for you guys. And then I was actually going to install this, which is the red dot sight, which comes, this is a removable backplate here for the rear iron sight. So I was going to try and install this, as well as actually setting up the holster, which I've got for this, the Kydex holster. So I thought we'd make it a bit of a discussion video. I'm going to talk through different things, hopefully give you guys some thoughts, but also some useful tips on just how to set up a pistol when you first get it, and hopefully this is a value as always on the channel. So I'm going to open this up. Kind of want to do it like this so that you guys can see it. I've actually handled one of these before. I went to Airsoft Extreme, which is where I'll get a lot of my tech work done, and I picked it up and I wasn't sure about it at the time. I generally like smaller pistols. I like that more compact, my Glock 45, and this I decided to go for the full length one because I do have a Glock 17, but I never use it. And what I really like about this one actually is the magazine. So this is your typical kind of Elite Force VFC box, which has got this to come in, your instructions, and that. I do not know what that is. Looks like it's almost the size of the barrel, but we'll figure that out. Oh, actually, I have just worked out what it is. So there's three things that come in the box. This thing, as it says up on the end there, I think this must be to adjust the hop up. So we can try that out in a minute. But it's your standard VFC box if you guys haven't seen it before. It's got some instructions on here, but I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing on this, or I hope I am. If not, we can go back to that. But here is the pistol. Now, it definitely feels good. I'm not sure I love these Sig actual pistol grips on the actual primaries that I've got, the Spear LT. And actually there was one that came on the MPX-K that I've got. They're kind of just very oval, not really the word to describe it, kind of bulbous, where it's good because my hands are big, but it's definitely not your squared off compact kind of pistol grip. What I do love though is the look of it when it's like that. I just think it looks like a very cool pistol. It's not the Glock, which I have loads of and I absolutely love. So having it as just a little bit of a different standout pistol, also in this kind of tan desert kind of coloring, I thought was really cool. So I thought I'd go for it. You can get these in black as well. This is the green gas version. You can get it in CO2. The actual price of this normally is $170. Evike right now, I've got their Cyber Monday deal on. It's actually Thursday now. Seems they've still got their Cyber Monday deals. And this is currently $145. So they do some different packages. One which comes with a sight, one which comes with a holster. I actually bought these separately because it says they didn't have it in stock, the package that I wanted to get. So I bought this. This is as I said, $145 right now on Evike. I think it probably, if you're watching this video later, might not be that cheap. And the other one is, these are about $35, which are the Sig mags. Again, green gas. I think you can run either CO2 mags or green gas mags on all of these, which again, I think is a really good thing that most gas blowback pistols should do. So I got 2 of those as well because I have a lot of gas mags and I realize I don't use more than 2 on me at any one time. The magazine, really well built. It's got this kind of lower plastic drop down right there, so I think that's going to be very easy to pull. The actual pistol is very similar in terms of the build to a Glock, where you have a metal rail, an upper slide, and the bottom here is polymer. So it's got a polymer rail underneath, which you would have. It's kind of got this beaver tail similarly. I thought actually originally when I saw this, that might be a hammer that comes down. It's not. It has actually got a safety right here, ambidextrous on both sides. So you've got that, which you don't have on the Glock, but you do not have your Glock style trigger safety where it's kind of got that indent. I mean, it sounds really good when you actually rack it. It's kind of got this kind of slap metal sounding to it. This is the plate that I'm going to be taking off, so that looks pretty good. It's got serrations on the rear here and on the front, kind of like your Glock 45. Sig Sauer M17 branding. Obviously, I hate this, and I'm going to try and take that off. This one's actually rotating at the moment. These are a nightmare to get off, so I'm going to try and get it off for you guys, but if I can't do it, I'm going to continue on with the video, so don't expect that that's definitely going to happen. Sig Sauer branded pistol grip, which again is cool. I've actually ordered my favorite Talon grip covers on here, the sticker that goes around them, which I've got on all my Glocks. Again, it's mainly because I don't really like these grips that much. It does have kind of that serration-y, texture on it, but it is not that great, to be honest. It's got, these is kind of annoying. Caliber 6mm written below on the rail, and I really hate that that's on there. I may try and look at a way of changing that. It's like not for misuse or careless use, not a toy. I mean, it is a toy, but that obviously does not come on the real steel version. So if there's a way of getting rid of that you know of, let me know, and I will try and do that myself because I do not want that on there. Okay, so if I rack it, it's got a really nice sound to it. Oh, the trigger. Look at this trigger here. Ready? Literally no give in it. That's the wool. It's got that little give there. There is nothing, it looks like, with a Glock trigger where it's going to move. It literally kind of stays in the same positioning. But that's a really good little trigger. That is the slide hold. Doesn't seem to have that offset barrel. That seems pretty straight, which I don't think is like the original, like the actual real steel. I think that cants up on the real steel more like a Glock does. Slide release is here, which actually I think is really good location. Ambidextrous again, but it's kind of right there on my thumb. So I like that. Again, the safety is easily flickable. It's kind of like that USP compact that I've done a video on. If you want to see that, check it out. I haven't got any gas in here. I'll get the gas out so you guys can quickly just see what the action is like. Gas fill valve at the back, which again I like, because if you drop these, it's got less chance of actually having the gas fill valve there, hitting that on the floor and damaging it. Those feed lips do look very protruding, so I imagine if you drop that onto a surface like that, it's going to crack them very easily. They are proprietary mags. It's not taking your Glock mag. That's really annoying. The actual follower here is super inside, so it's going to be hard to get that down. Looks like loading is your kind of standard drop it in the top there. So that's good. Let's see what it sounds like when it fires. So slide, release. Oh, I think that sounds great. I'm actually very, very happy with that, guys. I'll do a performance check on it just so that you guys can see how it performs in another video. But if it's VFC like their Glocks are the Elite Force ones, then I think that's going to be great. Hop-up adjustment I think is very similar, but it looks like this tool might go on the actual slide rail here, and then yeah, so I can rotate it. That is kind of good that it shows me on there which direction I rotate to turn it. It's not like that sits properly in there, but it does enough where it's basically just turning that hop arm. So I like that a lot. You can actually turn it with your fingers as well, so I don't think you need to keep this with you, but it obviously does give you that turn to the right, you're putting more hop on. Yeah, so far guys, I'm really impressed with it. What I'm going to do is actually just break it down. I think if I lock the slide here, looks like I can turn this, yeah, and then if I remove the slide lock, there we go. Again, everyone, this is not real. This is a replica as it shows. So now I have some tools to try and get this off. I could take out the inner barrel, but, well, sorry, the outer barrel to try and remove this. I'm actually going to try and do that before, maybe with these pliers here, and just see if I can get it out. I have had not a lot of luck doing this in the past, because a lot of the time it will kind of like break inside, and then I have to use the heat gun, which I have here, just sitting over here, and I will get that out in a minute if I need to. And it looks like I might have to do that because this is not coming out. It's almost like it's rotating there. And again, I've been on so many Reddit forums finding out the best way to get these out, but it definitely seems like they're pretty brittle. And from my experience with the Glocks in the past, a heat gun is generally the right way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the recoil spring and not drop it on the floor. I'm going to... This is very similar, guys, to the Glock, just in terms of the removal of the spring, removal of the barrel. So that gives me my outer barrel right there. There is a O-ring that's sitting there, which I might remove. No, it's keeping a spring in. So I'm going to keep that there for now. And this is my trusty heat gun. Now you have to be very careful with these because they can be very dangerous if you get the heat onto you. Be careful where you put them afterwards. You can get these on Amazon for about $25, $30. So they're very cheap. If you just look up a heat gun, this is the C-Cone version, which has been good. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to heat around the barrel quickly. I'm not going to turn it on too hot, so it's going to melt. Apologies if the sound on the mic there is bad. You just mute me until you see me turn this off. But I'm going to slowly rotate this, heating up the metal more than the plastic, just so that inner piece is heated. There is quite a lot of silicone oil on this. What I have done before is I've actually pulled out, broken the outside of the orange tip off, and then had to like dig around inside. It does scratch the barrel up, and I really don't like that. So I would say if you're thinking about getting it off, don't rush it, which is why if I can't get this off fairly quickly, I'm just going to continue installing the sight and just putting the holster together. And then hopefully I'll show you guys what it looks like in a short after this so you can see that. I think that might be close. So let's be careful this doesn't touch anything, because that is what is hot. Let me just slowly give this a little pull. Feels like it's softened slightly. but not to a point where it's going to go. So I'm going to heat this a little bit more. I'm going to turn it up. One thing I could do is take the inner barrel out, which is probably a good idea. I might look at doing that now actually, but I think I'm going to have to remove this spring, which I'd rather not do. It actually would prevent the, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that because that is actually going to help me. What I'm worried about is this spring right here, this little metal one, which is actually kind of holding the inner barrel in place, and I do not want to have to take that off and then not be able to rehook it back. Let me see with my little needle nose pliers if I can get this thing. I really don't want to break this, guys, before I've even used it. That would not be great. Okay, so I've found a way to do that. See if I can push this in here. Looks like there's a little indent, little pin that is preventing this from going. And I don't know how to get this out now. I could look this up online, obviously, but I'm too lazy right now and I don't want to pause the video for you guys. So that's not going in. That's not going in. So basically where that little catch is, I need to work out how to like indent or put that one. It's not the same as the Glock. The Glock will pretty much just slide straight out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this spring back in place, and then I'm just going to keep heating it. I'm going to try and put this spring back in place, and I'm going to keep heating it. No. Now I've done this, I'm not going to be able to get it back together, which is going to be great. Okay, so that's clicked back in, so I should be good with that. I'm going to try one more time just to get this heated and on. Sorry, pause there. Okay, that's hot. I had it going on cool, which is not good. Trying not to blow that into the mic. Yeah, I can really smell that now. Okay, so that's starting to melt. Let me just see if I can pull this out. I think, guys, I might need to leave this for now and do it later, because this is really, you can see I've melted it there. It's doing that. The other way, actually, people say you can do this, which I haven't, actually I have tried it once, but it didn't work for me, was doing the, putting it in boiling water. so that is getting very hot at the top there. Looks like this is coming out. Ow. That is really, really hot. Probably should not have gone that hot on it. And I think I've done the worst thing possible, which is to have left that in the inside. I'm going to quickly... give this a pull. Okay, so I have messed this up big time. Ow. And this is really hot, the actual barrel. So if you're thinking of doing this, probably wear gloves would be my advice, just based on my experience with this thing. Use plastic, which is probably the worst thing I can use. The other thing as well is it might be worth doing this outside. I've just realised the actual gases coming off this bad boy. Probably not great. Okay, I really don't want to damage this barrel. Scratch it. Jesus, this thing's hot. You can also damage the hot rubber as well, which I think we're okay on this one. Yeah, because it's not as hot at the top, but definitely if you're really wanting to make sure you're not doing anything and you're not rushing to get it done in a video, then do it slowly and do it properly. Okay, well I can do this later, guys. What actually will be quite good on this, I think, is that you'll be able to see what it looks like without the orange tip, because I've managed to melt it in. I've managed to get everything off except the actual inside. So it means that hopefully, I'm going to do it with this guy. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to go with that. So I'm going to do the rest of this after, but basically I've got an edge there on the inside, which is good. And then that's basically what has melted off the top bit. So I'm going to continue just doing this. I'm going to let that cool down for a second while I actually do the sight on this. I'm going to have a look at this because I haven't seen it yet. Let me put this heat gun over here where it's not going to melt anything. Or shouldn't melt anything. Let me just make sure that's not giving off too much heat. That's giving off a lot of heat, so let's not do that. Let's be safe. I'm actually going to take this out and I'm going to put it on the floor, which is a hard floor, tile floor. I'm going to have a look at this quickly and then we're going to have to try and get it on. Now the other thing which I haven't told you is that I had to go back to e-bike today to get a different version of this. Now I bought a more expensive real steel Sig sight, which I thought, right, it's made by Sig, so it's going to go on and it's going to work. It did not. I don't know why, but they had no kind of base plate with it. I thought it would just go straight on to the actual top where I could remove this plate, but apparently it won't. And so this is the Sig Air one that you can get. It actually is $50. So it's not a real steel sight. It is made by Sig, but it is their kind of, it's their version for their Sig Air products. I really don't like that it says Sig Air on there because I think that means that it's, you know, kind of obvious that it's not real steel again. But obviously it's made by them and it comes with a couple of adapter plates, it looks like. Yeah, so one for Airsoft. Again, I hate that that's on there. And then one for air gun, which obviously this is not. So we're going to put that to one side. It comes with this, which looks like it's kind of like an adapter for, I don't know how that works because you're just using an Allen key. It looks like to change the windage and elevation. Or maybe that's just to show you which direction for which one. Although it does that on there as well. So I'm not sure what that is. It comes with an extra battery. It comes with an Allen key, which we're going to need. And it comes with the bolts that we're going to need. And it comes with a little flathead screwdriver. Okay, so we have all these pieces over here. I'm going to make sure I don't lose any of them. Just let that barrel cool down. So we do not want that to be too hot and to burn me again. Right, so I need the upper, which is here. And what it looks like is there's 3 different screws in there, which I'm going to take out. So I'm going to need my trusty screwdriver with a Phillips head. Again, I love this screwdriver. Luckily, this is not too hot because I did not heat up the upper. And also, it's got a plastic nozzle in it, so it's probably not the best idea to heat that up. I will probably change out the hot bucking in here. So that is the 3 screws that I've taken out. That means that this back iron sight's just dropped off and this plate has come off. You can see the screws there. The rear plate has come off. Now, what was that just dropped? Okay, so I think that was the little catch that was right there. Okay, so there's a little catch that actually sits just on this groove. So be careful when you're taking that off that you don't drop it like I just did. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the sight plate, try and keep these screws in there, and I'm going to put this right there. Okay, so I did not keep the screws in place. Just get this guy back in. So I think actually what I need to do is put this little catch back in. Otherwise it looks a bit weird on there right now. So I'm going to put this catch back in here. And now I'm losing the back plate, so I need to be careful here because I'm messing this up big time. Okay, that back plate needs to stay in place. So make sure I get this back in. So I think I raised this up too high. I need to get this guy out. So I'm going to take these screws out just because I think I'm trying to make this more complicated than it is. Okay, so that back plate's back in, it just hooks underneath. I'm going to keep my thumb on that. I'm going to take this catch and I'm going to put it back in place. So that's going to sit like that, I believe. Yep. I'm then going to take this plate. I'm going to put this on. I know I'm not being as obvious with this, guys, because I'm not doing close-ups. So if there is something where you're looking at it and you're saying, what did you do there? Let me know and I will try and show you guys exactly what I'm doing. The other thing I've just realized is it looks like we almost need something there to attach this onto. Let me have a look inside the sight box. There are no screws there. This guy does not screw in like that specifically. So let's have a look here. So I'm screwing that in place. That's going to sit there, but it's not going to actually screw in because there is no bolt. Oh, I know exactly what I need to do. Okay, so I am putting this rear sight back on. So it looks like you have to have the rear sight. You can't remove that rear sight. So let's put that there. Let's remove this quickly. So those 3 little holes here, I need to have in place to hold this plate down. And it looks like that is a little bit more sticky to get this in. So that's that back sight. It needs to go inside these holes. I'm going to remove this screw because it seems like it's getting in the way. Okay. So let's see how this goes. Try and tighten it. Pull that sight in. That's one screw. Two screws. I'm going to be chatting right now, guys, in the chat. So as I'm doing this, if you have questions as well while we're watching the premiere, just put them there, and I'll get to those for sure. Or I'll try and answer them as much as I can. Okay, so that's not sitting in there fully yet. So I need to make sure that these are all lined up. So it feels like I almost need to go harder. Get these guys locked in. That is sitting flush. Yeah, so that's pulling it down. It looks like it's just a bit tight on that, like getting the actual rear sight into those holes. They're just, because it's probably not the stock plate, it's just a bit harder to get the actual, it's harder to push them in. So I'm using the torque on the screws. I don't want to strip these screws, but they seem pretty solid. That's made by Sig, so let's hope they're good. And I'm pushing that into place, and I think we're looking pretty good on this now. Just tighten each one slowly. I do not want to strip those. So that is how we're looking now. So that's back in place. I've got the 3 screws back in there, the end plate's in there, that little catch is there, and now we have this RMR. So I'm going to sit that right there on top of the RMR. So I think now what I need is just the actual screws to put them in. And we have just 2, which should be right. I actually need to remove this plastic thing, I think here. Oh, it says do not remove. So let's see if that works right now. Okay, so that works. So it says do not remove, don't remove that plastic thing. Good thing they had that written right there, because otherwise I'd be in trouble. And I'm going to take these, and I think this little screw, this little hex key, sorry. And I'm going to put this right in here. Let me just check, because we've had someone ring my doorbell, which is fantastic. So let me just... Let me check 1 second. I'm just going to put this in here. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this right here. My dog George, that's why. He's gone outside, which is why someone's ringing the doorbell. So if you've watched this channel for a while, you've probably met George before. And he is a lovely dog, but he decides right now to escape through our front gate. There is a hole there, and he likes to go outside and smell everything, pee on everything. So I get rings on the doorbell occasionally from neighbours walking past who just say, "Excuse me, is your dog out here?" And it seems like that's what just happened. Poor George. Okay, so that is now in place, guys. That looks pretty great, I think. And that's the red dot. So, you know what? I was afraid that this red dot wouldn't be great, but actually the sight picture on it's really good. It's not the biggest window, not like my SRO, Trigicon SRO, but it is pretty good, to be honest. Very thin on the edges here. And then it has this case which you can put on top, which is great for transport. Don't know if I'll use that. But let's have a look what this thing looks like when it is all put together. That's not hot anymore, which is great. I'm going to take the recoil spring and we're going to put this in here. So that's basically where that hop-up adjustment is, that little wheel there that you're turning. So that's going to go there. That's not in properly yet. Let's make sure we have that, so that's good. That's all in place there. We obviously have this little orange thing which is sticking out the top. Sorry I didn't do a proper go of that. And it does not, like a Glock, do the straight lock, obviously, because it's got this piece here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the slide quickly. I'm going to pop that back in place. I'm going to release it. And that is looking pretty cool. Forgive this thing on the outside. Don't do that with a real firearm. So that is looking a lot better, other than that thing stuck right there. So when I'm firing it, so that's working fine. Need some more gas in here. Okay, so I'm impressed so far, guys, with this. I think if you're going to get it, this sight by Sig, the Sig Air sight, M17, M18, this is probably the one that's going to make it most easy if you're doing an airsoft version. You can't use that on a regular firearm, as far as I know. So what I'm also going to do now is install the, where is it? Install the holster into an actual QLS mount. So this is the holster you can get. That fits solidly, like really, really well. And I am going to get the, what am I going to do? I'm going to take the actual QLS mount off here and then basically put it into place on here so that I have these on all of my holsters, and I have a QLS fork plate. I'll show it to you quickly afterwards, but it means that if I'm switching firearms, I literally have my pistol mags on my battle belt, and I have a drop leg holster, so I can just take whatever pistol I want, switch it out, which is really, really useful. And so I really recommend this. Safariland make them. This is actually, I think, used for my high capper right now. I've ordered another one, but for right now, I'm just going to use this because it's a lot easier to use. I'm going to see if my screwdriver can do these, but I think I'm going to need a larger actual screwdriver piece, which I think I have just up here, or not. I'm going to quickly grab one, guys, 1 second. I have a flathead, so we'll see if that's too big. Yep, that is too big. So I just need to find quickly an actual screwdriver that is going to work with this, which shouldn't be that hard, but apparently. Okay, I've got it, don't worry. I try not to edit these videos and cut them down, guys, so sorry if this is going on a bit long. And I'm leaving the actual place as I am supposed to be showing you guys what I'm doing. But is that going to fit nicely? Yeah, that's perfect. Right, so in fact, does this go in my favorite? It does. Let's go with my favorite. Screw this one. So I'm going to quickly undo this if I can. Right, that's one piece. Let's not lose these screws. It looks like you can get different versions of this, and it is actually made by EMG. It's their 093 Kydex holster. That's what it says. Okay, there we go. So that is going to pop off. And I actually might just be able to straight put this guy on. I'm sure we'll see. Actually, and I need an Allen key for this. Good thing I've got all my trusty tools right here. This thing in the background is getting pretty filled up with stuff, which isn't great. I need to, nope, slightly smaller. I need to do a clear out of my office space here. Okay, so I think that is going to be perfect for this QLS. I'll put these over here. I do not want to lose these screws, which I continue to do all the time. Okay, that's there, that's there, that's there. And I am going to push this over here. Right, and now let's see if this will fit on here, which it should do. Ooh, we might have an issue. Okay, not a full issue, but I'm going to have to move some of these. I have to move a couple of these around. So, as you can see here, the fork has little grooves where you can actually fit the screws through, and I'm going to want it actually canted more like that. So I'm going to go with this location, and we'll see if that will fit. Okay, it's going to fit on those two, and then I think it's going to have to do this little. I think this is adaptable with multiple holster mounts. Yeah, so that will work. Should work. As I say that, I'm dropping this. These can be really finicky, guys. Just getting them lined up and done. We'll see if the bolts that it came with are long enough. I think they should be. I'm going to start just putting those in quickly. Yeah, so these will work well. Let me get my, not that one. And then I will show you quickly after I've done this just what it looks like. So the width of these aren't great, but they work. Don't put it too tight. Okay, so that should be good. Push that through fully. There we go. I don't want to tighten these up too much because then I need to adjust them. Yeah, so Safariland, you can get these on Amazon. I actually like Safariland everything, pretty much. There's very little Safariland stuff that I don't like. They do holsters as well. I won't necessarily buy the Safariland holsters, but any mounts. I get these actually for pistols. I actually use their ELS as well. They almost have a smaller version of this fork, which is better, which is called for... This is QLS, and the ELS is for your equipment. So you can basically put them onto mag pouches, grenade pouches, different things. And if you have the base on your battle belt, it means that you can run them on everything. So there we go, guys. That is attached right there. It means that I've got my pistol that's going to go in there. And so I can take this around and I'll show you what I do. I've actually got a battle belt that I don't use as much. I use this one more for just training pistol at home. It's basically the same layout as my one that I use when I'm playing, but I quite like just having this on the side. It's more for kind of speed pistol drills. And this is this one here. I have, like, for instance, the same dump pouch on it. At the moment, I've actually got a weird setup where I've got one of the QLS mount plates here. I've got I think this is actually made by S-Tac, and that is an M4 mag pouch. I've got one of my Haleys, and I've got this, which is my favorite, which is the drop leg. So I'll show you guys quickly what that's like. I obviously don't have any belt loops on these because they're tracksuit bottoms. But that is where it goes on there. This little leg loop goes. I never used to like these. I never used to think I liked these because I used to think they didn't really secure enough. This one is the Safariland drop leg, and it's great. And so I'll show you what I do with this is I literally have that there. I can just put this into that slot, push it down, and it locks into place. If I can get it to lock into place. No, I've just said that. I actually think I need to redo the bolts on that and just make them smaller. But that basically allows me to have that there. I'll actually show you. These are new pistol bag pouches that I'm trying out. They're from Unobtainium Gear. They just came out. But I actually really like how they work. It's kind of got that speed angle to it, and there are two right there. So they seem to be so flat when I don't have pistol mag pouches in them that they really don't get in the way. And so with this, guys, I've got literally super fast draw. So if I'm doing that, I've got, so I can literally just go bang, bang, bang. Got my dump pouch here. Bang, bang, bang. No gas in that one. Dump pouch, draw, boom, boom, boom. So that's going to be it, guys. That is the P320 M17. That is what the build looks like in the end. I'm going to put my Talon grips onto it, but that's how I'm going to use it. This is kind of my setup just for training when I'm at home. And I'll give you guys just a firing test of this so you can see what it's like on another video. But hopefully that wasn't too long, going around too much. And it's like a 45-minute video right now. And sorry I didn't get the orange tip out properly. I'm going to go and do that now. And I will post some pictures and some shorts of the actual replica as soon as it's done. Thanks, guys. See you soon on the next video. I want to know what you think about this replica and if you'd buy it yourself. Goodbye.